All right, folks. So, welcome to another episode of 1A Zone with Cliff. And basically, today's topic, which I didn't think it was going to be, I was going to make another topic about video games so soon, but yeah, it's about video games. And basically, pretty much, it's on the verge of death right now. And notably, in Sony's case, if they continue going down this route, and everybody else follows. All right. So, in the words of the infamous Klaus Schwab, you will own nothing and you will be happy. All right. So, basically, looks like Sony's heading down that direction because there was news that as of January 2028, Sony is going to begin halting production of physical video game media. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of like, honestly, I kind of thought it was going to happen sooner, but it's going to happen down the line, right? So, basically, I don't know. It's just they're really, in my opinion, they're really shooting themselves in the foot with this one. It's just such a bad idea. It's such a bad idea. And, some people, they don't realize how much of a bad idea this is. And the funny thing is that Sony kind of foreshadow what would the outcome be, because literally the day before this announcement, they said that about 551 movies and television shows were going to be taken off their PlayStation Network or whatever their service is because they don't have licenses to them. And guess what? That also applies to the people who owns the PS5s and who have these medias on their systems, despite the fact that they paid good hard money for them, and now they will not have access to them because of licensing issues. So you pay money for nothing. It's just, and people have to realize that this is not a good idea, right? And I do believe Sony, this is gonna really deal Sony the worst hand as possible. All right, they're literally handing business over to Nintendo and Microsoft and Steam, the PC gamer, the superior PC gamer race. However, I don't game anymore, so I don't know. I don't really game like that anymore. But in any case, I want to use two games from my lifetime as an example of why this is such a bad idea. All right, and these two games happen to be two of my absolute most favorite games of all time. I'm gonna be using Square, at the time SquareSoft, but now Square Enix. Basically, their game Xenogears, which came out in 1998. My absolute number one favorite game of all time, and I need to talk about this probably down the line on the 1A Zone, because it is such a flawed masterpiece. Let's just put it that way. And basically, full of political intrigue, religious themes, spirituality, all wrapped up in a love story. And I'm not a fan of love stories, but basically, I love this game, and the story's written really well. If I hate love stories, but I love this game to death. Anyway, so we got Square's Xenogears, and we also got Rockstar's GTA 4. Other than the fact that this is crazy fun and hilarious, this game is dear to me because this is a literal time capsule for me. Because if you don't know, basically GTA, the high def series this is the first of the high def series. So basically, they were literally taking pictures of places around New York. And they took pictures of the neighborhood I grew up in Queens, and there's some places that I remember that are no longer available now because of the scamdemic. Shut them all down, or shut all these businesses down, but they're still digitally available to see in this game, which is insane. So this is another game that I hold dear to my heart because it's a time capsule of the time that I remembered growing up in New York before my untimely move to Dirtbag, New Jersey. All right. But in any case, let me just start with this game. Why digital gaming is a bad idea. Xenogears, right? So, This game has a very interesting history, and basically, the team that made Xenogears, right? They wanted to do something else other than the Final Fantasy games that Square was known for, and they decided to make Xenogears, which was originally supposed to be a Final Fantasy VII game, but it was deemed too dark by the higher ups, so they made their own game of it. And basically, this thing was like a sleeper hit. This thing, like, it just blew up. I was surprised that it even got ported to America, despite because of its religious themes and everything. But I mean, when I tell you that this game opened up my mind to a lot of things, this game really changed my life on numerous levels. And basically, to the point where I actually got to switch the Switch One, because I thought the team was gonna basically release another Xenogears game, but nah, it didn't fulfill my needs. Unfortunately, I don't think they really went down the right path. But that's not the topic for that. But for this conversation, but. Regardless, I think it's because the team split off from Nintendo. Not Nintendo. Wait, what I'm saying? Split off from Square, right? To Takahashi. My mind's drawing a blank to their names already. His wife, I forgot. I should know their names by heart because I absolutely adore this game. But like Soraya Saga, yeah. So they split off. With the other members of the team that made Xenogears, and they created Monolith Soft. They made games for the under the Monolith Soft title until they were picked up by Nintendo, and now Nintendo has 100% ownership of Monolith Soft. So they are like locked in with Nintendo at this point, and I think because of that reason, we will never get a re-release of this game, let alone a remaster. I was hoping for a remaster. I don't want a remake. I think it'll just kill the overall mood of this game. But we won't even get a re-release of this game because of that. Because of the political situation going on right now. And it's a shame because, like I said, this is my absolute favorite game of all time. Absolute favorite game of all time. And I would do anything to be able to play it legally. That's all I'm going to say. Other than on my PlayStation, and basically the only other digital release that this game got was on the PlayStation Network, but only extended to the PS3 and the PS Vita, which is kind of really weird, but whatever, and for some reason, I don't know why, PlayStation 4 or 5 never got access to it. It doesn't make any sense, but I would, I don't know, man. Just really wanted a re-release of this thing. If I can get a remaster, I can't even get that. So, one example why physical media is so important. All right. Now, the other reason being Grand Theft Auto 4. All right. And I think this comes at a good time because GTA 6 is around the corner. And you see, now the funny thing going talk about GTA 6. Right, there was already a lot of clamor because a lot of people were angry when they pre-ordered the game because they thought they were able to get the physical right off the bat, and the pre-orders were only for the digital until Rockstar Game had to come in as because they got to keep their image. They got to say like, look, no. Only the pre-orders are digital. You can get the physical down the line a few months later. And basically, I think they don't want people to like swap games or whatever with other people and whatnot, which is kind of whatever. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea to just release digital first and the physical instead of the physical immediately because I mean a lot of people who bought the games first they're in the pre-order, they want the physical games, so now they have to buy two games pretty much if they want a physical copy, which is a damn shame. Right. So anyway, but this game, I absolutely love. Again, like I mentioned before, this game is like a time capsule for me. For the time that I remember growing up in Queens, and these places are long gone right now, and and another reason why I got the Switch was because basically I was hoping that they're gonna do a re-release of this game, which they never did, and you know why? It's because of music licensing issues. They will have to get a new license for all the music on this game. That's why GTA 5, along with this, will never get a re-release because of the licensing issues. It's always with the licenses, right? And now going back to GTA 6, right? Now basically now, and Sony, removing 551 games from their catalog and from the owner's servers. On their hard drives on their PS5s and stuff. Just think about GTA 6. What if they're gonna be using licensed music too? What if down the line GTA 6 can't, eventually down the line they won't be, Rockstar was gonna lose those licenses for the music being used in GTA 6. So what if there's another scenario where they could just take those games off the hard drives of people and say, well, sorry, we lost the license to the music. You can't play GTA 6 anymore. Or on the lesser note, they somehow managed to mute the radio stations on GTA 6. And that's going to really, that little bit of changes can really change up the whole game dynamic, honestly, because it really changed the whole feel of the game. The soundtrack to this game is basically synonymous with GTA 4 to me. When I play this game and I listen to the soundtrack, they go hand in hand. All right. So, really makes you think. I mean, basically, if Sony's going to continue down this path, they still have plenty of time to turn around and say, no, we're gonna continue selling physical media, whatnot. They still have time to change their ways, but at this point right now, they're giving away their business to Nintendo and Microsoft and Steam right now, which is really bad. So I don't know what's going to happen, but all I can say is that basically I'm glad I'm not into gaming anymore, other than the fact that it's very expensive and it's just, right now it's getting harder and harder to own physical media. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any comments, feel free to hit me up. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I'm not used to replying to people and stuff. But I know this is a hot topic, so we're just going to leave it at that. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Good luck. God bless. Take care. As always, keep it real. Later.